Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Ashlee.
Welcome to the Capital Mom Real Life Conversation.
Today I'm going to start real quick with my Glimmer. And first of all, thank you again for joining us. We always are super grateful. But I'm going to start with my Glimmer, and my Glimmer is more of a general one today, where I feel like as parents and as moms, we have to make decisions that are best for our family, for our whole family. Even though like maybe if we only had one kid, maybe the decision would look differently or whatever. And making decisions and changes like that, like when we go out and we try something and then we realize we need to make a shift or an adjustment, it's moving into those unknowns again. Like that's something that's hard for me, that I feel like a little anxious about. I like to get a feel for something, and then once I like it, like to kind of just be there, because then I know what happens and I know what to expect. And when I make a shift and I make a change, there's a ton of unknowns suddenly around it. How's my kid gonna react? How is the environment gonna be? Is it gonna be what I hope? Was it the right decision? You know, all the things. And anyway, I just feel really grateful. It's a Glimmer for me because I have been pushing through that uncomfortable period of unknowns and trying new things. And I'm so proud of my kids for how they've been handling it. And I'm proud of myself for sticking with it, even though it was really hard. And just encourage all of you, if you're in a moment or a place like that where you have to move into something uncomfortable to do something that's better for your family, just encourage you to just hang in there and do that, because I think you can trust your mom intuition or dad intuition.
Totally.
Because I just think you know best. And so I just feel really grateful for that right now.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Mine is totally different, and I was honestly just kind of racking my brain what I was going to say. And so this just happened last night, and so I'm just going to talk about it. We went to a Husker game last night, and there was this.
I know, Husker.
Yes.
I wore this.
Go Big Red!
I'm still feeling excited about it.
So. It was such a fun game. But there was this lady behind us who was probably in her late 80s. And she was just the cutest lady ever. And she loved my husband. Like I got there later than him because he was with recruits. He's a coach. And so when I sat down, she leaned over and she goes, "He's a cutie, isn't he?" And I was like, "Okay." And she goes, "I like him." And then my husband told me that earlier he grabbed her face and went, "No."
He did it or
she did it to him. But she was stroking my hair. She kissed my head, and like just.
Oh my gosh!
And
it was like
so joyful, and
yes.
And so then we started talking, and she told me that her husband had just passed, and that she was alone in the United States. She had moved here from England, and I said, because I had asked her, I said, "Are you here with your daughter?" And she's like, "No, that's my neighbor. We met because her dog runs away to my house and I give it treats." And like, she just was like joy in human form. And I actually cannot wait to go to the next game to see her.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah,
this is so cute. But listen, she goes, "I won't be here next week because it's my birthday and I'm going to Omaha to go to Red Lobster." I was like, "You have the best time at Red Lobster. Like, go party." And so I think it just reminded me that like the way that we interact with other people around us can have such an impact.
Yes.
Like she could have just sat there and not talked to us, and we could have not talked to her and gone about our lives, but we didn't, and it made an impact on both of us. And so I just think, again, that's kind of like the life lesson that I keep learning is like, if you have something nice to say or you feel inclined to talk to somebody, do it, because it usually just brightens your day.
Yes.
Like she brightened mine, so
I love
that's
it.
a Glimmer.
I love that. I love it. Like pre-technology days when we only had each other to talk to and brighten, and I love that. Okay, well we're gonna roll in. You're probably gonna. Oh, there we go. Okay, well we're gonna roll into our topic today, and this one kind of came to us as we've been back in school. Our kids are coming home telling us different things about school, and there have been some a little theme that's popped up recently that we just wanted to talk about.
Yeah. It's on our hearts, and we thought it was the perfect time to talk about it because maybe it's something that your kids are experiencing or will experience at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the phrases and things that my kiddos have come home mentioning or letting me know as I've asked them questions, is that there are certain times when friends are, telling secrets, things that they can't hear, saying things at recess like, "Oh, I'm gonna play with this friend, but you can't come," or "I'm gonna play with them. I just need them for a minute," and then never coming back, and maybe pulling. Like wanting.
You're gonna come do this. Let's go.
Yes, we're gonna go do this.
That child feels like they don't have any say.
A choice or a say in that. And then even things like where a conversation is being had among friends, and a kiddo walks up and says, "Hey, what are you talking about?" And they're like, "Oh, nothing."
Yeah.
And then
all
or
things,
saying something like, "Why do you want to know?"
Right.
So like that. Those
and
kinds
like
of
the
phrases.
attitude is starting and. I think in my mind, I'm like, oh, that doesn't happen till like middle school, but we're so wrong. Like that happens younger, and I'm sure it gets worse in middle school or more intense. But I think what we want to chat about is like developing strategies and having those kind of tough conversations with your kids about how to handle those situations, and making sure that they are not the ones making other kids feel that way.
Yeah, but then also that if they are receiving that they maybe feel more empowered to handle it and know that like we've got their backs, we want to help them.
Yeah.
We're not going to go fix it for them necessarily, unless it gets to a level that there needs to be some involvement. But certainly that we always want to be a listening ear to be aware of what's happening and then know how to kind of work through that. So both her and I have actually, we've spoken with school counselors before. And so they had just some helpful thoughts that we wanted to share too.
Yeah. So the first one is using I statements with our kids. So instead of pointing fingers at the other kid and just saying like, "You're so frustrating," or "You're not being nice," or
that's a common one I hear too.
Right.
Like, "They're not being nice. You're being so mean."
Yeah. And instead turning that around, and the way to do that is by using I statements. So using I statements to empower your kid to use their voice, saying what they think, not pointing fingers, but "I feel frustrated when you won't let me play with you." And that, instead of like, "You're being mean because you're not letting me play with you," it's a completely different feeling in the conversation. And it also, I think, almost shows a little vulnerability maybe. And so it shows that like you're human, and that makes me feel a certain way when you act that way.
Yeah. I think it gives the other person a chance to respond to that as well, as opposed to push away, because you're going to get defensive if someone says you're being mean.
Then it's like, no, I'm not.
Then they're going to go further away, because then it creates more friction between. But if you say, "I'm feeling left out," that's very different. Yeah. They know that word "left out." Absolutely. They know like, "I'm feeling sad." Like I think those are words that kids naturally want to respond in a compassionate way toward.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And so just remembering that like their voice matters and it's so valuable. And I think sometimes there's different ways that kids can react in that way. I think some kids retreat and just want to hide and be like, "Fine, I don't want to be around you. I'm just going to go do something else, even if it's not what I want."
Yes.
And other kids could maybe stand up and say something not so kind back.
Yeah, that's not going to add to the situation. Right. And some then might also, if they're caught in the middle, where they feel like, I want to be with both people.
Right. Like
this
friend's pulling me this way with this friend.
And maybe I have two friends that I want to play with, but the loudest one maybe gets me each time because they're the ones that are speaking up more, which isn't necessarily what the person in the middle wants to do either, but maybe doesn't know how to respond to that voice because it's louder and is more in your face. Right. Whereas this one seems okay right now. Like their emotions aren't, over the top like this one is. And so you gravitate to like the squeaky wheel in a way.
Mhm.
Like there's this, they obviously
Right.
need me because they're saying it
Yeah.
so forcefully, but so then trying to help them recognize that so that then they can realize the loudest voice doesn't always mean that's where you need to be.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that's a really good point. And something that Ashlee, I learned from her that I've mentioned in other episodes, is Ashlee starts this out at such a young age with her kids. Like if they're having friction or something's not going right, or if it's even a play date between our two families, then they'll come up and say, you know, so-and-so's doing this, and Ashlee's response is always,
it's always, have you spoken to them about it yet? Have you talked to them about it yet? And sometimes it's yes, but a lot of times it's no.
Yeah. And sometimes guiding that conversation. So, hey, why don't you ask them, whatever it may be.
Yeah, and maybe just giving them like the words that they just don't have yet.
Yeah.
They haven't figured out how to do it yet. So then you
Mhm.
provide like, hey, I was playing with that. Can I have it back, please?
Yeah.
And maybe our moms can set a timer so that we can take turns.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get to be the ones to go deliver that message. And I feel so strongly about this, like very passionate about this particular concept, because I just want to empower them to know how it feels to use your voice and have it be received.
Mm-hmm.
Kids, I think especially at these ages, our kids are so open to receiving things
Mhm.
like that, especially when it's not done in like an aggressive way.
Yeah.
It's amazing how quickly they can turn around and be like, oh yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like so often that's the response.
More
And
often
then
than not.
they come
absolutely.
skipping back like, all right,
Gotta
let's do
figure it
this.
out. Let's go play.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, but I feel like that has to add to their confidence level of, I am capable of resolving this on my own.
Mhm.
I do have words that are now hopefully tucking away into their memory bank of like, I can use this phrase, or I can do it like this. And anyway,
Yep, and if they practice it at 2, 3, 4, as they get into school, it just hopefully would become more second nature as opposed to like having no idea what to do.
Right. So like now when it's a toy that they wish they want to play with, or someone hurt their feelings on recess, like those are such, like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, small challenges to overcome and conflicts to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
As they get older, those challenges are only going to get where there's a lot more feeling,
weighted,
a lot more friction that's going to occur
Mm-hmm.
in it, that hopefully that does mean that they get there and feel like they have some tools in their toolbox
Mm-hmm.
to communicate in a healthy way with other people and have healthy relationships in that way.
Right. And so then that being said, if it gets to the point where they're trying to use their words and they don't feel like they can get where they want to be in that conversation, then we can bring an adult in. Obviously, if it's our 3 and 4 year olds, that's us coming in. If you're at school, that's your teacher or even your school counselor helping out.
Yes, which I feel so like, I'm so grateful for school counselors, and I just like a little plug for them, because it's so great to have a resource. Like when we lost my dad back in December, I felt unsure of how to help my kiddos when they were at school. I felt kind of lost in that. And my kiddo, one of my kiddos especially, was kind of wanting to talk about it, but kids her age didn't. Some of them haven't experienced a death close, a loss like that. And so I was able to reach out to the school counselor, and it was just a phenomenal resource. And they handled the situation so well. And I have had another experience where I've reached out for friend type issues for one of my kiddos. And again, I know that it helped my kid knowing that there was another adult in the school
on their team,
the situation,
and
was just there to help and very unbiased, trying to help both parties, because they do a great job with that, at least in my experience. But she knew that that was a resource. If she didn't feel like she could say it alone, the counselor was willing to even be like, I'll stand next to you if that's what you need. But she wasn't going to say it for her either, which was, again, just feeds that point.
Oh man, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, and so then I think the last thing that we're talking about, and kind of the whole theme of this was almost more of inclusion as opposed to exclusion, and trying to teach. So these are like little things that we can do to teach this bigger principle of like, like, how do you feel? How does it feel for your kiddos, when you're included? How does that feel? And how does it feel when you're not included in things? And in us trying to be the friends that we want to be and create the friendships we want to create, what's the principle we're trying to follow as we do these things or make these choices, or in our interactions with our friends? Like, if I'm doing this, maybe ask yourself, am I including people or am I excluding people?
And how would I feel if I was on the other side? If someone else was talking and saying what I'm saying, how would I feel?
And if I'm excluding, then maybe don't do it.
Right.
And like, have that be like a friendship rule. Like, if it's excluding someone, then maybe that's not what I want to do. And if it's including, then you can be like, then this is great.
Yeah. And those specific phrases, like Ashlee mentioned at the very beginning, the like, you can't hear this, or this is only for this person. Like, just talking to our kids about how would that make you feel if you were on the other side. And I think sometimes just that, like, oh, that feels yucky. Yes. And sometimes they don't even think about it like that because they're so focused on like, this is my friend and I want her to hear this thing and I don't want you to hear this thing, and it's not often meant to be malicious, but it comes off to the other kiddos as like very hurtful.
Yes. And I think it's normal child development too, to go through this phase. Absolutely.
And I think sometimes when it's our kid who's feeling left out or neglected, as parents, all we want to do is just fix it for them. Like, what can I do to just take away? I just want to take away the pain. Like, do I need to switch teachers? Do we need to like call the mom and talk? Like, what can I do to take it away? And I think like, in having gone through some things myself, just taking a step back and realizing, especially the I statements, like, my kid is capable and they do have tools and they can use their voice, and it doesn't always have to be me like scrambling to save the day. Yeah.
Well, and sometimes we can make it worse when we step in too much, until it obviously, if it's at an unhealthy level, and I think we'll know with our kids, as long as we're staying in contact with them about it, then we'll know. But sometimes my emotions make the situation so much bigger because, and we talked about this too, like, kids are fighting and I like come in being like, oh, are you being so grumpy? But if I had just ignored it, the two times after that, they fought and then they were giggling they were giggling a minute later, and I'm like, oh, I totally read more into that than I needed to.
Yeah. And again, I think when it's serious. Like, if if your kid's coming home every day
crying or talking about it every day,
or changes in behavior, changes in mood, like, hey, this isn't my kid. Like, something's going on bigger than And that is the case if it's if it's bullying or something like that that's more severe. I think that it affects everything. It's not just like, I'm having issues at recess. It's their whole, like, they're a different kid. Their whole mood, they're crying more, they're pushing you away, they're yelling, and it's like, okay, what's going on here? Like, this is bigger than just a friend at recess.
Yes. And for me too, it was just that my kid kept bringing up the same name, like, every single day, and I almost got like annoyed at first, a little of like, gosh, like, just leave her alone. And then I realized, like, no, this is her letting me know that this is
asking for help.
That this is on her mind every day. Like, that's the thing that she comes away with. Then this is something that I should maybe give a little attention to, and a little like TLC and love to figure it out, like, what's going on and what we can do to help. So just good luck to you guys if you're getting similar phrases, or having any experiences like this at your home with your kiddos too. Just we encourage the conversations, using their words, helping them be capable, and know that we're right there with you and trying to help build a community of inclusive friendships and inclusiveness.
You don't need to do motherhood alone. Come join our village.
Exactly as you are.